The NBA is back. Signature shoes and City Connect jerseys. Let's do it. Swoosh Life Podcast. Season 3. Welcome back to the Swoosh Life Podcast, episode 58. We have some very awesome people joining us tonight. Nick and Blake are here. We're going to talk about the NBA. A little housekeeping first. Going to get my one shot in. Jaguars over Steelers. Sorry, Blake. And then also on a somber note, we cannot not recognize the legend that was Matthew Perry. Rest in peace. He will always wear Nikes as Chandler Bing on Friends. So shout out to him on there, and rest in peace, Matthew Perry. So welcome back, Swoosh Life Podcast, NBA preview. A little bit different for us, but we're going to get right into it. We got lots of topics to cover because NBA season is back, and so we have our two resident NBA pros with us, Nick Spears, Blake Sledge. Welcome back to the program.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's always good to be back. Welcome back. Nice to see you guys' faces, man. You guys looking good.
Thanks, buddy.
All of us. And Matt is also an NBA savant as well. I will call him. He's the one always posting our kicks of the day on our Instagram. Go check out our Instagram at the Swoosh Life Podcast. Matt, how are you?
I'm great. I'm excited. You know, this is one of the things about the NBA season. It's already started. There's been a lot of moves, and I just can't wait to hear the opinions of some of the moves by one Nick Spears and one Laker legend fan over here, Blake Sledge. But yeah, what's our first topic, Gumby? What are we kicking it off with?
Let's go right into our signature shoes of this year. So we have some new signature shoes out there. Book came out with one. Sabrina obviously has one as well. We have the Ja Morant from last year. So, Nick, what is your favorite signature shoe that is out this year?
Well, we've talked behind the scenes about how disappointed I am and how everything's a low top. Everything is so close to the next one, design-wise. But I honestly, this is straight off the cuff. The Sabrina is my favorite shoe. I really like that Sabrina shoe. I'm actually trying to get my kid to wear them for basketball. I don't know if he's going to go for it, but definitely. See, look at. I mean, wait, were those the Tiffany shoelaces?
Yeah.
Bring those back up here.
Oh yeah, Matt showing them off.
Oh, you're actually wearing them? Maybe you should put them back on then. I think I like the black shoelaces with them better, though. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, this is from the Nike ID that I did, so I jumped on the Nike ID. By the way, shout out what I did notice real quick, 13.5 in Nike ID. By the way, you can now do the KD in Nike ID. Nike by you, sorry. Nike by you can get, and you can order in 13.5. So if it's a woman's shoe going up to men's, they offer 13.5. But we can't, you know what I mean? Like, we just want more choice. But yes, got that in Nike by you. I got thoughts on the Sabrina. Go ahead, Nick.
We'll go with number 2. I like the Ja. I like the colorways so far. You know, if I was still hooping or, you know, playing back in the day, there's not a lot of colorways that go with what I would wear, but I do like the personality that they're coming with. Definitely represents him. And then 3 was tough because I just think everything looks the same. So I actually went with the Tatums. My youngest son just got the Wave Runner colorway in the Tatum, and while it is bright and bold, it's neat. I don't know if it's what I would wear, but I'm just a little down on the choices this year as far as signature shoes go.
Yeah, I mean, okay, my top 3. God, this was tough for me because I do like the Sabrina, and I did meet her this year, so that's kind of cool. But I'm gonna go with the LBJ, man. and it's not because he's a Laker, but I was just looking at the cushioning, and the heel was as you get older, man, and I ain't the slimmest of cats, but the cushioning in the heel is really looks like it'd be a really comfortable shoe. Two, that I have to go with the Sabrina at number 2, and then my third shoe is actually the book, and it's because I got some close look details on it, and I didn't notice that there was textured patterns, on the toe cap. Yeah, they use different types of textures on the shoes. Well, I thought that was pretty cool because all we're getting from book is just an orange colorway or a black solid, but if that shoe hits, Nike by you, you'd be able to really freak it on the customization with the different textures and stuff.
That's super interesting, man. I'm surprised you went with the D book. So you know what? I'm going to piggyback off the LeBron thing. So I'm going to go honorable mention. LeBron 21 is my honorable mention, but it was my best hoop shoe of last year. And, I love the cushioning setup is amazing. What I have heard is that it's no longer a full length plate underneath. So it's just kind of like a shank, which is not a full length plank. So could be good performance wise, could not be good. It's going to allow for a little bit more of that squish, like you said. You got the React foam in there. I believe it's React foam or Zoom Turbo. Zoom Turbo. I apologize on that one. But that's my honorable mention. So number 3 for me is actually the Zion 3. I think they killed it with that first one, that Zion 3 with the drop in midsole and with all the colorways. So remember, I said in the pregame fist fight, you can take into account everything that's been announced and coming up. Because I don't think with the LeBron 21 right now, all the colorways I've seen, I have a feeling like some people have been saying LeBron watch. If they do LeBron watch again, that's just indicative of, I think, what the problem was with those mid-teen LeBrons. Like they went all prime knit on the upper. And it's like, okay, cool. We can make it look like a Dion. We can make it look like a Griffey. But that's what makes Jordan's iconic is, yeah, they had to use materials and they had to create structures out of different shapes. And that goes back to my thing about colorways. If you've released an all purple shoe, an all orange shoe, an all black shoe, this goes out to the D book being all orange. You don't see any textures. You don't see any intricacies. The design doesn't speak. It doesn't talk. I think that's something that the KD, I've loved playing in the KDs the last few years. I think the colorways so far have been pretty bad. Like the homage to the Penny 2 on that wing, like they don't do any justice because the way that they've done the color blocking, and especially to kick off season, I wish the color blocking was better. So I'm Zion 3. I think the colorways are good, especially the ones that are coming. And you got the full length Formula 23 drop in midsole there. My number 2 is the Sabrina. Dude, React and Zoom, these things are awesome. And I think the good thing about the Sabrina, and while the Zion kind of looks like a Kobe, I haven't played in it yet. When you play in the Sabrina, it makes you feel like you're wearing a very high-end soccer shoe on a hard court. And I think that's when the Kobe's were at their best. The Kobe's were their best when they felt like, man, it's just locked in. My foot grabs the hardwood and I can make any kind of cut. I can run for days. Just amazing. But my number 1, Jordan 38, as I put it up here. And not just because of the 38. I am on the hunt for a PF version on the 38. So if anybody's got a lead, hit me up. But the FIBA colorway, fine in all white. But you look at what they launched with. Contrast, black, white, splash of red. Looks like a really good shoe. And the low top versions of these have been looking fire on NBA feet. So those are my top 3 on the signature shoe watch. Gumby, you got any thoughts on the signatures?
Yeah, I'm intrigued. You guys, no one said the Luka 2. I know that you guys talked about it. We've talked about it before. I think that is up there for me. It doesn't have enough branding on it. Like it's just a mini little Jumpman and everything on it.
This is the one.
That's the one. Yeah.
One. But yeah, I did get the 2 and I've played in the 2.
But I like the 2. I like it, but I think I'm close with Nick on it. I like the book. I like Tatum's. And then I like LeBron's as well. I know he's not a LeBron guy. I know that was Blake, but so I think I'll go like Tatum 1, book 2, LeBron 3 with honorable mention of the Luka. And Sabrina's in there. Jeez, I'm so conflicted.
I just like the way the book sits. Like I mean, I don't know, dude. Being a Kobe guy, like when I did hoop, it was all low tops, right? So like I really do like the way the silhouette of the book is, and I'm a little biased towards book and towards Sabrina because they are Kobe disciples. So it's like I'm gonna rock with their shoe. I'll probably buy their shoe before I buy a Josh shoe or a Luka shoe, or you know what I'm saying? Just paying my respects to Kobe in any way I can, man.
I do like on that brings up a point when you talk about like design and signature shoes, Gumby. Like the Tatum takes a chance with that wing, right? Like it takes a chance, like the wing. So if you, like I went by College of DePage, shout out to the coach over there. They're one of their team shoes. They had the Tatum as a team shoe. Yeah, and it looks cool. It looks cool with the wing, and you know what you're looking at from far away. The book, like as you get closer to it, you see the Air Force One influence. You get up closer to the Sabrina, you see the Kobe 4.5 influence there. But again, like if from far away, if the colorways don't do it justice, I mean, we've talked about this in the golf category for years. Like if you don't launch with good colorways, it starts to sit after a while. Also, a quick side note: you guys feel like there's too many colorways sometimes?
Yes, 100%, 100%.
But I think that for like Jordan golf shoes right now, there's 1,000 different colors of the ones. I know we've had this conversation with Blake on a couple of episodes that like he's like give them all to me. I think, but in the NBA, we'll get into this with City Connect jerseys and just jerseys in general, because they are done by Nike. You have, instead of just a home and away and an alternate, you have now 5, 6, possibly even 7 jerseys, I think, that like a team could run through, and they all have different colorways. I mean, if you look at Utah changed their colors to yellow and black, like after
which I love.
Jazz.
Those are fire. It was like sunsetty. It was kind of cool.
Oh, the gradient, the gradient one with all the different shades.
The gradient one, but I'm talking about just the new ones that are just plain yellow, block letter, plain black.
That's the ones I like.
Right, and I'm like, okay, but that is completely different than like the Utah Jazz of old. If you're going to do sunset, or you're going to do their throwbacks with the like mountains and the like that, the purple mountains. So you have to have multiple colorways because you have to be able to fit, I think, possibly the jersey a little bit.
I feel like I do miss the days, man, the golden era of Nike basketball, right? And I'm not talking about the 90s, Nick and Matt, so get out of your ear rockers there. I'm talking about like 2010 to like 2015, where we got like a Black History Month drop, we got a Christmas drop, we got Easter colorways.
The All-Stars actually matter.
All-Star shoes that were like, dude, it was this huge thing about it. So like I do miss
series.
The What the series, dude. Thank you for saying that. Like it's just so many shoes that weren't that had like their own specific detail. Going back to the soccer reference, dude, like Kobe had a Mamba Curel, which was a shoe based off of the soccer shoe. And it had, the same exact design, the same exact colorway, and he wore them on court. And it's like, and had a translucent lime sole, dude. It was fantastic, So it just for the storytelling aspect, I do think there are too many colorways. But what we do see a lot now in the NBA, a lot more, is the PEs, man. There's so many PEs that exist. I don't know how everyone's getting their hands on these PEs coming from Nike. Like PJ Tucker, dude. I don't know if you guys saw the 11s that he wore the other day.
Yeah, it was all red. Yeah,
dude, those are all red, but those were MLB PE. Like those were for Mookie Betts when he played with the Red Sox. Like no one else had those. You know what I mean? Because Mookie's a Jordan brand, so it's just like,
well, I'm sure they got their connect the same way we have our little club. They have their club. But yeah, I'm glad you mentioned, because that's why I ask if there's too many colorways, because now if there is a special occasion, it's hard to pump up a special occasion, right? Like I agree with you. I think the golden era of Nike basketball shoes definitely was the 2010s, like around that turn of the decade. But the great thing about that was, to your point, when that All-Star game, so think about the Area 51 pack, right? Like the Galaxy kind of theme, that they went. But then, like, if you launch, like, okay, like, take a look, like, some of the Zion launch colors, they look like they could fit in that Area 51. Like, it's hard to, like, you could give it the nickname, but it's just cool especially when all of the players get together, and it's like, cool, like, the Kobe version's orange, and the KD version is this, right? Like, tell a story, tell a theme, and tell it across all the signature shoes, right? Instead of like the Across the Spider-Verse, dude, like the Ja one. I love that shoe. That is a must. I'm hunting that one. But it's a big problem if nobody else is doing it too, and maybe Ja's not your guy, right? And maybe I'm not a Grizzlies fan, although I am. So
do you think this is a little bit off topic, but who do you think out of all of the lines that Nike has the best like theme shoes? Because I have a vote, and my vote is SB has, I think, the best themes that out there. Because you can get, like, they used to do the ugly sweater Christmas ones. They just dropped an SB candy corn one. I think they go hard in the details. Obviously, the lobsters, all that stuff. I know this is off topic, and I'm the one that's supposed to keep us on topic tonight. But
That's a good one.
I just wanted to kind of see, like, because I think basketball is the next one that has great themes. But also, we could get into golf, because golf themes are like the Masters and the U.S. Open and all that stuff. So I'm just kind of curious, as you guys, as big sneakerheads, like, who do you believe has the best out of the Nike catalog of shoes?
Look, I'll go first, man. If I had to go themed, I'm probably gonna say Dunks. Just they do a lot of different cool collabs, like the Heineken Dunks and the Fruity Pebble LeBrons, and just so many other colorways that I don't know if you guys saw the Jackie Robinson Dodgers joints that, like, so there's so many cool dunk colorways, themes that they kind of actually unveil a story to. So I think Dunk's got to be up there, man.
I'm gonna let you go, Matt. You go first.
Yeah, it's tough for me because, like, man, I'm in a lot of sports, and obviously I love the tennis, I love the basketball, I love all those, but I don't know that anybody does it well and as consistently. And, like, the only one that I really know, I would say, that does it great is golf. Like, yeah, because the peaches were executed well. We dock them points because the PGA Championship didn't release the winner's shoe. But moving on, right? Like the U.S. Open, good release, but we only got the Air Max 90 out of it, and then we get the full release for the Open. So, yeah, like there's like pluses and minuses. That I don't know enough about the other categories, Nick. Yeah, that's a good question, because, like, I feel like the NBA, like the basketball shoe, that's the one that I would look forward to. Like, I would look forward to the All-Star edition every single year. And these last few years, but I also get it because the competition has gotten crazy too, right? Like, I get it's hard to hold back what an all-star theme would be if, New Balance and Puma, and basketball's got a lot of competitors now. A lot of people coming after that, for the whole signature shoe thing being dead movement, the people saying that. It's funny how many brands want to get in.
Skechers.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting. Skechers, Harry Kane went to Skechers. So I think it's just interesting because I don't think you see those other companies do like theme stuff. I think Nike's very good at it. I mean, you can look at the candy corn ones that just came out this year. They're high tops. They're orange they're orange, yellow, white. They've got a teeth mark in one of the fronts. They've got a sweet tooth, like little tooth mascot, like on the tongue. It's details that make, I think, Nike like the best at what they do. We can go look at, I think, as Blake said, the Dunks. The Chunky Donkey is probably one of my favorite shoes that I will never ever get my hands on because it's $1 million. But you know what I mean? Like, it's super cool just how detailed they can get into it. And so I think I just think there's really cool collabs that they do and think of. And I still want some ugly sweater Christmas shoes really bad. But
they have done better on the holidays. But and don't worry, guys, we got time. So we could do the City Connects after this, NBA predictions, and we could get, for those of you that tuned in to hear Nick and Blake's takes on golf, we'll have a couple minutes at the end there. We'll get their year in.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Blake. I think you got something.
I'll let Nick go. He's been sitting on something for a minute.
Yeah, I was, when Gumby first proposed the question, I was thinking like an individual shoe. I'm kind of messed up there. 100%. I think golf right now rules that. I think some of us, people who I still talk to, I think the availability issue kind of kills it sometimes when you get a shoe that is so good, like the AM One Masters, gone instantly, right? Because, somebody's, sending texts the whole time you're trying to order them, who's not on right now, but I know he's listening. Still salty. Yes, Ryan. So I think that 100%, I think it's golf, but the availability issue just tends to kill the vibe every once in a while, And I know supply, demand, blah, 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 blah. But the fact that it's still golf, and yes, our golf shoes, growing in popularity because of Jordans and, spikeless shoes. It's still golf. Like there should be enough golf shoes out there. It's not basketball, I guess. So I say golf, but availability kills the vibe sometimes.
That makes sense.
So I think you're spot on with availability being huge, but I also think that Nike was probably doing a little kind of test as far as like setting us up for potential retros moving forward in the Jordan brand golf line. Just because like with ones, you can offer so many different variations of that same shoe. With Air Max 90s, you can offer so many different variations of that shoe. With the 12 this year, it was people said we got a lot of releases, or last year with the 12s, but it was, I mean, it's pretty simple. Like you can only really change one or two options on the shoe. So I think moving forward, when you get into more traditional shoe, Jordan brand shoes, where you're talking about maybe a 3 or an 11 or something like that, then they've already created the hype, and now they can scale back on the available stuff, and then it'll be back to that frenzy. But also, I think the pandemic just had a huge impact on available things and people buying things in person. Like you just don't see shoe lines at the malls anymore. So everything needs to be available online, you know? So I think they're going to flood the market.
And
Well,
that's
that's also Nike pulling back, right? Because like Nike used to, if you wanted some like those All-Star Game shoes, if you couldn't get it through Nike, you could get it through Foot Locker and House of Hoops. And
those are the days.
Yeah, and then there was the whole mom and pop shop. Like I had a mom and pop shop connect. Jordan Rogers talked about it last episode. Those were excellent, and I get it. Nike wanted to hold back because the other problem too, like it's hard to control what these store owners or what these store managers do with the inventory once it's in their hands. So then it all became sneakers, but availability thing. This is circling back to golf, y'all. Sorry, but do you guys feel like the ones have been selling so well, and some of the spikeless versions of our limited edition shoes sell so well? Because I was just at the outlet and I saw a full row of Masters Jordan 6s. Is because when it's spikeless, people can wear it off the course. You don't have to be a golfer to enjoy it. You guys think we're all nodding?
100%. Yeah. Yep. Which is genius on their part.
Yeah. And I think to circle back to like availability stuff, like the SBs, especially like Lobsters or any other ones like that, they're at skate shops like that. People are lining up. There's raffles at skate shops. Whereas there's not many, there are golf shops, there are Galaxies, there are PGA Superstores, but I don't believe that they're like going there. But maybe they should. After we saw what happened with the Travis Scotts and whatnot, like maybe they should be going to golf only stores and letting golfers buy them. Even if it's at Dick's, it's still going to a sports store where the everyday reseller has to go out of their way to something that they're not normally going to purchase them. Maybe retail should make a little comeback.
It's a slippery slope, though. I agree, dude. I agree. Like Journeys, dude. I bought a lot of dunks from Journeys back in the day. I don't know if a lot of listeners probably don't even know what Journeys is, but it's a skateboard primarily shop.
Terrible,
yeah,
logo.
dude.
Terrible,
yeah,
logo.
terrible. But like, dude, like you used to be able to go in there and get shoes from them, no problem. And then like with the Travis Scott Golf, like being a sneakers release, I think that was intentional. A lot of people were complaining about it. When the shoe is made, the silhouette and the similarity to the actual Travis Scott shoe is so similar, with the exception of just a little raise in the traction on the bottom, that you can wear it off the golf course. And then when you're wearing it with a fit, you can't, unless you pay attention close to the tongue detail, you don't know that it's a golf shoe. I could tell you most sneakerheads probably would never even guess that it was a golf shoe, even though Sneaker News posted it and all these other places posted it. Nobody recognizes it as a golf shoe. They just see it as a Travis Scott. So I think anytime you do a collaboration like that, it's going to sell like that. It's unfortunate for us golfers. Like, yeah, it makes it impossible for people to actually put it on the links. But dude, Travis Scott ain't mad about it.
Not one bit. All right, so that's great discussion, guys, on it. I think like we don't talk a lot about sometimes sneakerhead stuff here, and I think we all try to be. I try to be. I am not a sneakerhead. I can't afford it. I will say that Blake doesn't try to be. He is him. So and same thing with Matt and Nick. So it's nice to have that talk. We are the Swoosh Life. It's nice to branch out just from like other stuff. So, but we will dive back into the NBA right now. So, City Connect jerseys have really made a big statement. The background that you can't see right now because we have so many people on YouTube. If you're watching us on YouTube, go subscribe on YouTube. Click the plus button. I'm just getting all the plugs in. I'm not very good at this, but so
you got a little Russell Westbrook point guard action going on tonight.
So I think, let's talk about some of these City Connect jerseys, some of your thoughts. We probably won't have pictures up on the screen, so we'll describe them based off of some of the photos that we sent earlier to each other, and we can pull them up. So, guys, give me your top 3 City Connect jerseys that you saw this year. Only this year, and then we can maybe go if you have an all-time one, because I know I have an all-time one, but I'm curious of what you guys think of them this year, because it seems to be that every year Nike is getting a new City Connect jersey, because we know that people buy jerseys and you have to buy the next one, the new one, and that's money. So what are you guys' thoughts? Matt, I want to start with you on this, because I think you're great to kind of describe these and see what you like.
So I'll do it really quick, because so with the Bulls, right, like the statement edition. So usually the third jersey is the statement edition. And then every year they've come up with these City Connects. Just my thing, Nike, on the City Connects. If you have a good City Connect, there's nothing wrong with flipping the colors around and running it back the next year. Yeah. Like some of these you start to see like, oh, they took what they did from another team, because the City Connect, there's supposed to be a connection to the city.
Right.
So
best example, sorry to interrupt, but best example is the Miami Vice ones. Those ones were the perfect example of what a City Connect jersey should be. And they had 3 renditions of it. They had the white Vice, they had a black Vice, and then I believe they had like a pink one as well. So that is pink South Beach, that neon blue, that neon pink, that South Beach style Miami script. And like you said, they inverted the colors. So they had a Miami night, they had a Miami day, like all of that in the Vice colorway. Then they went from that into more of I still like this version, but Miami did one where it was Miami in different letters from all of their jerseys. So you had like the blocks, the Vice, and then the players, which I thought was also cool, had different numbers, and they got to pick which numbers they wanted out of the style of numbers that they had. So I think like Tyler Hero, I believe, is
14.
Thank you. So he had like a Vice 1 and a standard 4, So I think I thought that was really creative, because it allowed the players to pick their creativity and all that stuff. But then they went to heat culture, and I don't understand what they're doing this year. So, but that is my example of how a City Connect jersey should be thought of. Correct?
Yeah.
Matt?
So piggyback off that, one of my favorites has always been Minnesota, especially when they did the Purple Rain, like the Prince ones. That should have been just their official third jersey. Let the purple one live forever. This year, actually, they're one of my top 3. So I like Minnesota. It's got the blue and the white. The Minnesota one is one of my favorites. So it's blue. It looks like it has shades, like a little forestry, kind of snowy forestry in the background, leading up to a white shoulder. And just simple Minnesota with the big number on the side. I'm a big fan of that one. I'm going to shout out the Utah Jazz, who are going back to the finals where they got beat twice by MJ with the big mountain, the purple, the Utah. They're going back to, it's actually a great jersey, but I'm old enough to remember that when they came out with it, people ripped it apart. It looks like a cartoon. It's silly, and now everybody's yearning for the old days, which is
Malone
it's just people of our age moving
Jordan
in.
Fade away over them,
Right, and then the other one, like honorable mention, I like the Indy one because it keeps the Indianapolis Pacers yellow, but then it's like black, and I don't quite get the reference there, the connection to the city there. So yeah, not a huge fan of that. Also, Blake, they're doing your Lakers dirty. They're doing that thing that they did with Toronto, where they're just doing the triangle on the letters. They did that to Toronto a couple of years ago. I'm like, wait, is it like Triangle City? Like, what is the point of that?
Phil's not there anymore.
Yeah, and then however, our Chicago Bulls, Nick, what a mail-in on this one. The reference is back to the old Chicago Stadium sign, so it's just letters going down the side, and I applaud they resisted the urge to put it in a stripe, which they've done multiple times on other jerseys. Yep. And I get that because I never like one stripe going down one side. It reminds me of like the Charlie Sheen bowling shirt days from Structure.
Yep.
Kind of thing. But then you got to fill it out. Like you can't just have a number hanging out there with nothing in the back. What's up, Keith? I like the Black Mavs. I always like the Black Mavs. It's just a simple kind of like old Mavs logo and stuff like that. So I know I was supposed to name my top 3. So that's the Utah Jazz. I'm going with the Minnesota Timberwolves, number 3. And then it's tough for me to pick like just what's the best one, but I think I'm going to go actually with the Memphis Grizzlies because this is super interesting. I like what they did with the Grizzly one. With the Grizzly one, there's
just
3
stripes.
Oh, are they stripes? Are those 3 stripes or 3 blocks? We'll call them 3 blocks.
And that's why I hate it.
Yeah.
3 blocks to make the. See, I know it's going to be
stripes.
controversial.
Come on, man.
But I might have to get myself a Derrick Rose, Memphis Grizz. I might have to, even though I don't wear jerseys. There's something about a grown man wearing another man's name on their back. It's not for me. I wish they would just make blank ones of this. So those are my 3, right? Those are my 3 with the description of multiple others. So Blake, what's your top 3?
All right, so Matt stole one. The Utah, just nostalgic, right? Like that City Edition is pretty dope. So I'm gonna put that at 3. And number 2, actually Houston, H-Town across the chest. I love that they're just owning the nickname of the city. I think that's fantastic. And then my number 1 actually is just simply the Miami Heat. I feel like they kind of get it right all the time with these jerseys. I feel like they really can do no wrong. Honorable mention, man. And it's the Toronto Raptors. It's OVO colors. It's Drake related. So I think it's actually Drake inspired with that color of that City Edition Toronto jersey. So, so those are my top 3 with the honorable mention.
I got to give you a hard time because you picked Heat culture. Like Heat culture is one of your top ones. That's all it says.
Yep.
It says
because
that's the thing though.
Like,
because it's a whole
yeah.
thing. Like, I forget who it was. I think it was Jimmy. He said like he came there and they weigh their players. Like it's a whole thing. Like
got to look good on the court and on the beach and in your
100%. 100%. So they're just embracing it.
All right.
Well, I like the idea. I like the idea of the Heat jersey. I just don't like the color and style. And because this is what I do, I already complained about it with the signature shoes. So when they decided to make all these jerseys, were they just like, hey, let's just make a black jersey? Like, I like color. Give me some color. Give me something that pops. Like the old Miami Heat jerseys. So I was a little disappointed with how many of them were. They're like black, like just slightest, like the Grizzlies one, which I don't mind. But so honorable mention. I can't even tell you why. I like the Milwaukee Bucks one. I don't have a reason. I
like it. Cream City, man.
Yeah, I just like it. It looks cool. So that's my honorable mention. 2, going with 3. Phoenix. Just because I like color. I like the gradient with the purple and the orange. 2, the Jazz. Same reasons as Matt said. Just takes me back to the 90s when they probably could have won a couple championships, but there was a certain guy in Chicago stop them. And then number 1, Minnesota. I think the theme fits perfectly up there, the blue to the white with the forest in the background, just like the cold snow, that's my ranking.
Okay, I'm going to jump in before I let Keith come back on and say hello to everybody. Honorable mention for me, I like Denver's because I mentioned Mile High City, 5280, right? That's what you're at there, Blake. So I like that. And then another honorable mention, I think Nets. Nets got that 90s vibe to it. I kind of dig that. We mentioned Chandler Bing on and Matthew Perry on the beginning of the show. I think he would rock that jersey in the 90s in a Friends episode. Other than that, I think I'm right with you guys. Oh, I also like Boston's, but I'm a Boston guy. Sorry, Blake. Just Blake and me are just clashing today. But it has nods to the parquet floor, which I think is cool. So little details, you know how I feel about that. I'm going to go with Suns, and then Minnesota, and then Utah. Utah's 1 for me. Oh no, sorry, San Antonio. I like San Antonio too. San Antonio going to go 2, Suns or San Antonio 3, Suns 2, Utah 1. That's my take. I like all of them. I like them a lot. Also, this is going off topic, but Orlando's jerseys, actual like jerseys this year, and the nod back to the Penny and the Shaq era with the stars on it, very, very good. So, Keith, welcome to the program. Get your first words in here. We're talking about City Connect jerseys and your favorites, and you can also just say hello to everybody.
Hello, world out there. How's
Hi,
everybody
Keith.
doing? Hey, Michigan Wolverines, and we got Holy Moly on tonight. Holy crap. This is
Yep.
great.
What up?
Sorry for jumping on late, but I've been all over the place. Had to get the kids unpacked, coming back from New York, and it's been a week-long event.
If it
So
wasn't
You got your
40
Connor Bedard jersey yet?
no, but we're doing our best 3 NHL jerseys, right?
Yeah.
NBA.
next year when they're in the Nike contract, okay?
Yeah, great. That'd be nice. They should have won that, but I'm glad the 3 stripes are going to be gone out of hockey within the next year or 2. Thank God. But Nike should have definitely stepped up their game and got something involved in that. That would have been nice.
Is it Lids now?
Their Fanatics is going to be the NHL jerseys, which is a little weird because this is the first time one of the 4 major sports is really going after a jersey, like home and away jerseys. But
I think every team,
they're more on the apparel side right now, or the fan team wear stuff. Fanatics.
Yeah.
So what? Top 3 NBA jerseys or honorable mention?
yeah, with the City Connect ones, you have the pictures and your text.
Yeah. I have top 2, and I can give you an honorable mention, which is good. Honorable mention, I like Memphis. I can't even say the word. The Grizzlies jersey. Always been a fan of those and their logo and everything. Number 2, I've always been a huge Phoenix Sun kind of colorway jersey kind of guy. I love the logo. I love the Sun logo. Old school is even better. When Barkley was on there and everything, that was cool. Number 1, I've always been a fan, and it must be like the hockey in me, but I've always loved the Toronto Raptors, the jersey, and the one they just released here is pretty cool. The colorways are great. I love the purple, black, and red, and I love their name. Big dinosaur guy right here, so big Jurassic Park guy. So that's why I gotta go that route.
Big dinosaur guy.
Yeah.
You guys always find the secrets in me. They always come out on the pod.
Awesome.
We can end this now. That's the quote of the day.
No, he's always a big dinosaur guy.
We got to do
he had
Keith's pick
front row
/ Blake's
tickets
pick.
to Jurassic Park when it came out last year. So he
Oh,
was there.
It's Sunday. I need to go to bed. I've had a long week, but
I know.
I'm glad to see all 5, the 4 of you guys, including me, on here. This is great.
Yes, sir.
This is good.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've had the full roundtable, as we'll call them, on the pod. So that's been good. Let's get into some basketball talk a little bit as we go through, and I want to hear kind of some predictions on the season, thoughts on the All-Star game going back to East versus West, thank God, and just who you believe will come out of the NBA as champion, and then we can also talk about World Series pick as well, as we have Texas and Arizona tied at 1-1 apiece. So NBA talk. Keith, start us off because you probably have the least amount to say about NBA.
I don't even know what the hell to say. I really don't. I just love the Toronto Raptors jersey. That's it.
All right, there you go. You have the Toronto Raptors coming out of the East.
And Vegas Golden Knights are going to win the cup. That's about it. Back to back.
Oh my God, that was awesome.
Nick, give us some of your NBA thoughts.
Gladly. The Chicago Bulls are the worst franchise in the NBA.
I knew that
The
was
worst owner.
Team meeting after the first game is never a
First
way to
game,
start.
right? Like, what are we doing? Like,
51 points.
your
and
answer
0
was
assists.
what? Your answer was continuity. Like, what? That's your answer? Like, these bums did nothing all last year, and now you're going to sign Vucevic to 3 more years of just bad and nothing. I don't know.
And
Everybody in
once again,
Chicago.
Once again, Nick does not understand asset retention, but go ahead.
No, yeah. What's that got us? Yeah, get back on the mic. What has that got us? Nothing. We can't even make the playoffs. And don't count. Playing game is not the playoffs. So just no. We are trash. Absolute trash.
Pure playoffs.
Bingo. Yeah. Okay. So there's my Bulls rant. They're nothing. They served zero purpose in the season. It was over before it started. So as our two head honchos in the Bulls organization, we're doing a radio show prior to the season starting. Everybody's having a good time talking about this upcoming season. What did the team up north do? The team up north is not Michigan in this case. It's the Milwaukee Bucks. They go out and get Dame. Guess what? I'm driving to Milwaukee. The Bucks are my team this year. Go Bucks. I'm all in. Let's go.
Wow. I expected more of you, Spears. Like that.
What?
That you got to go down with the shit, man. Like when
no, you want to know why?
No. I'm still rocking my Lakers stuff.
But you got to understand with the Bulls and the Bucks, it's not like a regional rivalry. It's not Packers Bears. Like it's little brother, right? Like it's like little brother did good. It's all good. Milwaukee's a great town, great city. I go visit. I'll go watch some Bucks games. I'm rooting for them. I'm not going. I mean, he's as we know, Nick doesn't live in reality. He says he's rooting for him, but they're not going to win. So
I don't want to hear none of that, man. Y'all are Chicago, and then Dame shows up, and y'all like Milwaukee. It's like
no, that was just me. That's just me.
No, that's just him.
You want to know what?
Chicago.
Blake, the only thing we've had is Michael Jordan. Our owner is living on his coattails. They have done nothing. Sorry, D Rose, for the knee, but you guys have done jack squat. And what are we at? Matt, what are we at? 25 years now? 25 years of nothing?
I agree. You guys are the
Cowboys. You were
Cowboys of the NBA.
Hey, that means
are we? I don't think
anniversary's coming up. Go to that.
You're the Cowboys of the NBA.
We are.
Yeah. It's been.
But I don't think we're good.
Since you won everything.
No,
if Cowboys fans think they're good,
the Patriots of the NBA. We had Belichick. That's Phil Jackson. We had Tom Brady. That's Michael Jordan. And we got 6 rings in 8 years, and it should have been 10. Scotty's migraine, no retirement.
It's all over now. It's done. Okay. It's never going to happen.
Easily been a decade of dominance.
But the Dallas comment is because of the span of time since.
Correct.
No, but Dallas has an aggressive owner. Actually, Dallas actually.
Yes.
You could talk about the Cowboys bad all you want. I respect the fact that Jerry's actually going out there now. Whether Jerry overmanages or whatever it is, at least that owner does something.
Well, he just said we're not doing anything at the trade deadline.
But that's a slight to Phil, bro. Especially with recent Patriot play, that's a slight to Phil to be like, oh, him and Belichick are on the same level. When obviously it's being shown that Brady was the reason that the Patriots were winning all those years, and it wasn't Belichick because Belichick's getting
easy there, Kobe and Shaq.
2 years in a row. Wait a minute. I'm just saying, man, like that. You can't just put Phil.
Wait, how did Phil do in New York? How did Phil do in New York? I get it. Amari got hurt and all that.
Yeah.
Look, here's the thing that people don't understand. It's chemistry, right? Like there's no one great player that runs everything and wins everything, right? Like you have to have a coach and the best player on board in the NBA. And basketball is different, right? Like when you have a great coach with the number one player on board, and in the Shaq Kobe era, right? First, Shaq was the better player, and he was on board with Phil. And then during the second set, Kobe was the better player, but he was on board with Phil. He gets to New York and he's not on board with Carmelo. Carmelo's like, triangle. I'm mellow, baby. Stay mellow. Right? Like Amari ain't here. There ain't no triangles. All I see is rim. That's all I see is backboard. Let's go. So yeah. Anyways, we've kind of derailed it, but go ahead, Nick. More predictions. Give us the team that's going to win. Are you predicting that they're going to win it all? It's just who you're rooting for.
That's just who I'm rooting for. What's in the East? Are the Heat going to have some crazy run again?
You still got him beat in the Philadelphia 76ers. You still got Boston made some excellent moves.
Yeah,
Boston's the only competition. Philadelphia is not.
Not with.
They might have a great. Yeah,
they're doing the stay the course thing, right? Like they're locked salary cap wise. They can't move anybody. They can't do anything until this Harden thing gets figured out. Like, I mean, Daryl Morey, like, man. I feel for that owner, man. They went through the tankathon, and this is why tanking doesn't guarantee anything. and all you're left with is James Harden not wanting to play and Joel Embiid. So
But-
all that thinking got you that.
They've been making the playoffs, and what have we been doing?
Well, they've got the best, one of the second best big man in the league in Joel Embiid. So they better make the playoffs. I mean, you got Zach LaVine, who's got a left knee issue, and DeMar DeRozan, who only shoots 2. So
Neither one of them play defense. Neither does our center. The top 3 players on our team don't play defense.
This is an NBA episode, not a Bulls episode. All right, I got Keith
Okay,
running in
you
here
got-
talking hockey.
All right, sorry.
You guys talking about the mediocre Bulls, like it's
Sorry.
a hot topic that people want to listen to. People are tuning in for an NBA preview.
I think the West is going to be really interesting. I think there's a lot of teams out there. I think LeBron's going to give it a run in LA. I think they might go try and get Harden. I don't know your thoughts on that, Blake, but I've heard rumors on that. And then
Do it.
And then you've got,
Please no.
I'm going to say you got San Francisco, not San Francisco, it's Golden State. You've got the Suns who decided to just go all in. So I think there's a lot of out in the West that's going to be interesting. And let's not forget that a 7-foot whatever freak in Victor Wemby is sitting out there in San Antonio.
Okay, so since we have 7 minutes left before Gumby has to run, I'm going to give my predictions. Number 1 prediction: Victor Wembanyama, Rookie of the Year. Okay, I think I feel good about
Big
that.
limb. Big limb out there.
All right, you want me to go? Okay, you want me to go out on a limb? All right. Zion gets MVP consideration this year,
I can
and
see
the
that.
Pelicans make the playoffs. He's in shape, and now he's ready to leave New Orleans. So he's gonna try because now
He's actually going to play?
There's a window. All right. So that's that. And then my NBA champion as of right now, assuming everybody's healthy, current status of the team. I picked the Suns last year, and I think that was their best chance. They've lost a lot of depth. I don't see how Bradley Beal and Kevin Durant playing off the ball from Devin Booker. You're actually hurting your best player. You're asking your best player to regress his game in order to acquiesce to superstars. So my pick for the NBA championship is the Boston Celtics because look, Kristaps Porzingis, when he was in New York, he was the main option. When he goes to Dallas, he's the second option. He likes his shots. Yes, he does. But guess what? He's actually kind of not bad defensively. Being 7 feet tall erases a lot of mistakes, right? So if that's your third option, and I know they lost Marcus Smart. Marcus Smart made a lot of dumb basketball moves on offense. Marcus Smart would say, hey, it's my turn. I'm the third best player on the team. And it's like, man, this is not the big 3 that you think it is. You are not Paul Pierce, Ray Allen, or Kevin Garnett. So I think that's huge. And then let me finish. Just the point guard is what sealed the deal for me. The fact that they got Drew Holiday, he knows, and the Bucks have changed offenses. I get it, but Drew Holiday actually being the guy, if they allow him to set the pace, because this has been the biggest problem with the Celtics the last 2 years, is that you have 2 phenomenal on the ball talents that play my turn basketball. And, you talk about DeMar DeRozan that hits 2s and very difficult 2s. Those guys hit difficult everything for no reason at all. That Boston Celtics offense will be humming, and I think it's going to be them in Denver in the finals.
Yeah, and I want to give Blake plenty of time because he knows more about basketball than I do. But I think with the Celtics, you had to move on from Smart because he was a vocal leader, and you need the 2 guys that you pay the most to, and Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, to become that vocal leaders to the rest of the team. And so you had to kind of move on from him to let those guys start to shine through, take over their team. You still have a defender now in Drew Holiday as well. Very good defender. And Porzingis. You have depth with Al Horford and others. Derek White's been playing out of his mind. So I just think Celtics are going to be really good. And I think that if with a coach second year in his belts now coming in, might be a lot better. And I can't remember because I know it's not Ime Udoka. It's the other guy, and I can't remember. So sorry. That's how much of a Celtics fan.
Joe Mazzulla.
Yeah, Joe. Yeah. So,
Husha Mazzilli.
Thanks. I totally forgot about Denver, by the way, when I was mentioning all the teams in the West.
Real quick, West is loaded, dude. They're like 9 deep. New Orleans is for real. Like, I watched all of their game. Brandon Ingram scores at will. Zion is the finger roll. I didn't know he could lay up that well. Like, being that acrobatic and that big, it's very impressive. Geez, out of the East, man, for sure. It pains me to say it, but I think it's going to be Boston and Milwaukee in the Eastern Conference Finals. I just don't see anyone else there. But I do think at the trade deadline, you're going to see a lot of people on the move. I could see Atlanta possibly moving on from DeJounte Murray, even though they just got him. Trae Young has definitely made some strides this year to kind of solidify his spot as that leader on that team. I could see Chicago breaking up that duo, Zach LaVine and DeMar, to try to get some type of assets back. Harden's begging to be gone. I don't know if anyone wants him at this point. He's kind of become spoiled milk. And I just want to give a shout out to KD for actually having to put up with that. You know what I mean? Like, who knows what that was like in Oklahoma City between him and Russ. You look at all the teams that all three of those guys have been on since those Oklahoma City days, and so it's like that's a take. Out of the West,
insider
though, man.
info on that, though. Insider info. James he was not that way until Houston. And who created that monster in Houston?
Daryl Morey, for sure. I mean, Morey is definitely, and now it's come back to bite him in the butt, and it is what it is. The West, though, man. I don't like Phoenix's depth. I don't feel like they have enough. I feel like that was the difference. They basically are Miami when LeBron and D-Wade and Bosh first got to Miami, where they didn't have depth. They didn't have Ray Allen. They didn't have Mario Chalmers hadn't developed into who he was. And Birdman wasn't, so they didn't have that type of depth in those first years in Miami. So I feel like in the West, my favorites, I like Denver. And I'm not a Nuggets fan. It's not, even though I live here, I'm one team only. I like LA's. I like our length. I'm curious with the minutes restriction on LeBron he'll be 39 in December. So it's a lot to ask of a 39-year-old. He's doing stuff that no one's ever done. I mean, no one has ever done. 39 years old. He's averaging 20 points. It's ridiculous, dude. 21 seasons in the league. You can never count out Golden State. Memphis, I think, is done. Ja being suspended for 25 games. That's huge. Yeah, so I think in the West, it's kind of a 3-team race. I like Denver, I like New Orleans, and I really like LA in the West. I think in the finals we're gonna have Boston. I'm hoping for Boston, LA, but I think inevitably it's gonna be Boston and Denver because Jokic is that dude.
Yeah.
Do you see any scenario that Golden State can put together a run?
I really don't, man, just because they're so little, man.
I know.
They're so small, and those guys, they're not young. Curry's mid 30s.
And all three of them are hurt all the time.
Yeah, so it's I don't see them making a run.
That's why I think, at least seeding wise, they might still be a high seed in the West, because Chris Paul, if any one of those three go down, you kind of don't lose much, right? But yeah, to your point, man, when they were making those dynastic runs, it's because they move better than everybody else.
100%.
And Steph's got a lot of ankle injuries, getting a little bit older. Shout out to Michelle Wee West, Johnny West out there. I got the sweater on here. Yeah, I'm rooting for Golden State, but I think it's going to be tough for them in the West because you got a lot of young players coming of age.
Also, I know we don't talk about.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Other brands here. I know we don't talk about other brands here, but Curry brand, is it still under the UA umbrella, or did he branch out?
Yep. No, it's
always and forever. They're never letting that dude go, dude.
No, I know, but I was curious that I forget who signed with him, but it was not UA, it was Curry brand. And
from Sacramento.
They've
from
also,
Sacramento. Yeah, Darren
Fox. Oh, Fox, yeah. And then they've also lost Brady a little bit too, which makes sense post career not to keep someone like that, but he's been rocking Nikes a lot more lately. I can tell you that. So
they all do.
Guy. Jordan's his guy, dude. Yeah, he's one of the only people that can sit at the table with Jordan and look him dead in the eye and yeah, I'm that dude too. So
yeah, very true. The Michigan man. Gents, any other final comments on our NBA preview episode? What to look forward to? Again, we talked about East versus West. You guys happy that that's back and that
I am.
Captain show? I didn't really like the Captain show. I
didn't really either.
I didn't care for the Captain, but I did like the format when, after Kobe's passing, I felt like it did intensify the game. I just feel like with the East versus West stuff, we're going to see, mediocre first half, and then somewhat of a defense. I think the worst award given out in NBA is All-Star MVP. Nobody cares. Russell Westbrook used to go out and try to get like 30 of them a game, every year. So it's like you got certain players that take it to heart and other players that are just like, dude, I just want to rest my knees. So I don't know, man.
I will say the Elam ending. I don't know why they don't just do this. This is my pitch. Put these teams together, play to 32, best of 7.
Interesting.
Best of 7. Games are only up to 32.
Yeah,
I think you're still gonna get it done in like 2.5 hours. Take it back, like we talk about like taking them back to the park. Like this is open gym right there. 32. You got to win.
I think the problem that you could get is that yes, best of 7 sounds good, but you could also be done 4-0. You know what I mean? Which then is not very entertaining.
I mean, 32 points. Let's just say it takes you. Like that's a good NBA quarter. If they go 32-30, that's a really good NBA quarter. So
I got a hot take real quick. Yeah. The NBA tournament. Like that they're unveiling.
In-season tournament. Yes, I forgot about that.
The worst idea I think it's not a terrible idea, but I just feel like the prize being cash in a stupid cup, like give someone a lock-in playoff spot. How about that? And you'd see real competition. You know what I mean? Winner of the tournament is automatically seeded at 8.
Or just play 82 games, no load management, and see who's better team.
Gosh, this guy, dude.
They're always making up stuff for what? Why we gotta mess things up? Like, whatever.
Because it's been proven the regular season doesn't matter. Like, look what the Lakers did last year, right? We were trash 2-10, and then we get some people at February.
Amazing trade deadline. That's
amazing trade deadline. But still, dude, to do the play-in, to make it all the Western Conference Finals, like LeBron and AD, I don't care what you say about them. That's a tough out to beat those guys 4 times in a 7-game series. So it's like, people have realized, Golden State too, they've realized we don't need the number 1 seed. Like, dude, we can shoot the lights out. So nobody, the merit that used to exist with like being the 1 seed or the 2 seed and having home court, unless you come into Denver and you playing in this altitude, it's not really an advantage.
I don't disagree with that part of it.
What we're talking about,
that's what I'm hearing now. So just
don't know is that NBA is having an in-season tournament that will be an annual thing, 30 teams. And starting November 3rd will culminate in the championship on December 9th. So in season, pretty much, they're going to be taking out of the season of play and playing this tournament. And it will take place at T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas for the championship. There are group play and knockout rounds. And then in group play, there is a tournament draw. So much like UCL, Champions League in soccer or anything like that. You have a West Group A and a West Group B. You have an East Group A and an East Group B. So that way, like, you're not paired exactly with the same teams in your sort of division of the conference. So like you have 76ers, Hawks, Pacers, Pistons, Cavaliers, stuff like that in a group. So it'll be interesting. Yeah, I agree. I think if you're going to make it something that they have to play in, then there needs to be better consequences, the other word, for it.
Repercussions.
That help you and allow you to like get in. You know what I mean? Like, automatic bid, make it 10 team, with a wild card bye or something like that for playoffs. I don't know, something like that.
Get rid of the playing game. Only have 6 playoff teams. People try harder during the regular season.
Yeah, something.
It'd be shorter playoffs. It'd be a shorter playoffs then, right? Because then you're only running like 3 rounds. But dude, I always feel like the official start of the NBA season is always Christmas Day. Like that's when I actually, because football's done and stuff like that, I'd rather see them start on Christmas Day and run until the midsummer. I know the NBA players don't want that. They want their summers off.
I feel like they already run summer though. Like the finals are in June, July anyways, it feels like, So.
Don't forget you got Olympics this upcoming year too.
I just hate baseball.
Have Olympic basketball.
Oh geez, now we're gonna have even more load management.
The Avengers team, as they were calling it, the Olympics, the Avengers team being assembled.
Oh, the Avengers team. Oh yeah, here we go.
I love how half the dudes that said they're gonna play probably won't even be asked to play. That's the best part. Yo, I'm in. I think we're also you ain't with us.
At a weird time in the NBA, at least for me. Like, I don't know any of the rookies this year. Like not one, like really not like one rookie other than Wemby, because even in college basketball, I feel like I'm not following it as much. I follow Syracuse, but they've been kind of trash lately. Sorry guys. Hopefully you're better this year without Boeheim at the helm for the first time in 57,000 years. So, but I'm intrigued to see like what kind of happens in the next couple of years, because I think that's a changing of the guard soon, right? Like you do have some great young players in Tatum and Booker and others, but
Anthony Edwards.
yeah, Anthony Edwards, and you just got a
Hey,
signature.
beast.
But like it's intriguing to then see. But we saw that they could the USA team with the young Bucks get it done in the World Championships. So just intriguing to see like the changing of the guard. How many more years does KD have? Obviously, how many more does LeBron have? How many does Steph have? Like it's a lot of what ifs in the next 5 to 7. Maybe it's 3 to 4 to be quite honest too. So
I agree 100%, man. 100%.
If Wemby is the real deal, oh boy, have fun, Spurs fans, because that dude ain't gonna be stopped. That's I don't know what that is. That's just different.
It was for me. It was when I saw his handle. I was like,
Yeah.
wow. Because like normally you see big people like that and they're not coordinated.
You think Sean Bradley?
Yeah, they're not coordinated at all. It's like they got 2 left feet. But it's like now, like you see this dude and he's crossing people over. He did a nutmeg on one dude. He threw it between his legs. I mean, it's ridiculous. At 7'5".
I know.
Well, nutmeg, and with one step, he's on the other side of him.
Hey,
so I mean,
100%.
Score another one for foreign basketball. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
We keep screwing around with stupid NCAA and stupid AAU teams, and the way we develop players in this country is stupid. I'm just saying it. Like the amount of money that's in kids' sports, whether it's baseball, hockey, football, basketball, golf, or tennis, like the amount of money it takes, like this is so stupid. Like you got a good ass kid like Victor Wembanyama. He was 7 feet tall when he was 14?
Yeah.
And in this stupid country, we be making him play against Kyle, who's a sophomore at some high school and is only 5'3", and posting him up, right? Like we all remember the video of Zion, right? Like Zion and the kid made it on Barstool because he's like, I'm gonna be tough. Let these kids go pro. Let them play for minor league club teams.
Agree.
Let them get paid. Let them get developed. Let them practice against other grown-ass men. Because here's the other thing you hit it. Here's the other thing. Take a look at Kofi from University of Illinois. Some of you might not know him. Some of you might know him. Great big. Guess what? He took his shot at the NBA. He didn't get drafted. He's screwed. He can't go back to Illinois. He can't go play in the G League here. He's out there making money. I think he's playing in Japan right now. And guess who's benefiting from playing against Kofi? The other Japanese players or the other foreign players. Instead of keeping all that talent here, letting them play in college longer, it's the dumbest shit ever. Man, it's just a microcosm. I'm not just talking about basketball. This is kids sports in general. This is all bullshit. Right? And we're approaching a future where the only people getting drafted are fucking kids of other NBA players because they're the only ones that could afford, and other pro players because they're the only ones that could afford all the coaching and all the nutrition and all this bullshit. So, rant over.
I don't want you to be done.
No, I agree with you. I know we've had discussions on NIL and we've had discussions on amateur and pro and all that stuff. I still believe that there's a level of college that needs to exist for the players that aren't of that level yet. But those people that are of that level need to be allowed and to do that. And there have been some people that have gone to the G League and stuff like that, but it is not still the ground for the proper expansion of their game, and so they from an early age. I've never liked AAU. Get AAU out, get into something else, and get better that way, and everything.
It's starting to seep into other sports too. Like here in Colorado, like growing up in Texas, like public high school football was just competitive. Every level, 5A, 4A, 3A, 2A, 1A, everything was competitive. Well, here in Colorado, you've got like private schools, like the school that Christian McCaffrey went to is called Valor, right? It's a Christian school, but they offer scholarships. It's like $30,000 a year to go to this school. You know what I mean? And so they go and they pull players from out of their district, quote unquote district, but they pull players from all over the city, create a super team, and then they're running up the score and they're beating people 50-0, and you're like, okay, you're ready, you know? And it's like, no, you're not. Like, he's ready because his dad played in the league, and he can train with, you know, all these Hall of Famers and stuff in the offseason. But look at the rest of the people that run that team. Like, they're trash, you know, because they don't get better, you know, by playing higher competition, dude. Like, my playoff run when I was in high school football, I played Jamal Charles, Andy Dalton, Brandon LaFell, all in the playoffs on different teams. That was like part of the road. Like, you had to go through a gauntlet. So the reward was better when you actually, you know, made it far in whatever it was, state championship, semifinals, whatever you did. You felt like, hey, I actually was battle tested. And nowadays I feel like a lot of people aren't battle tested because they can just kind of create their own lane and take a shortcut to get to their final destination.
Hey,
Keith,
man,
you see this in
it.
hockey a lot,
Yep.
right? Like in hockey,
better in kids' hockey.
It is different, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a different route, but it is like there's different levels. There's junior teams out there that you're paying top dollars for to get in to play. You know, there could be a not so talented player, but they're paying their way to be on that team, and they're just playing. There's better kids out there that should be at that higher level. It's just not the same thing all around. It really is with hockey, basketball. It just goes with football. It just goes around. Especially nowadays, everything's just.
But what did you say that Canada has a better? Canada in the way that they do, you know, the travel teams and that the kids can get scholarships or like, and the people actually come, like, you know, like you're going to play in Saskatchewan and people actually come and pay.
Right.
And
that's why Bedard's starting and not in AHL or he was in UCA.
Yeah.
Right. And then
NHL's far and few between for like talent guys like that. That's the future guy right there. Bedard is, you know, he's going to get stronger. He's going to get bigger. He's 18 years old. That's like Crosby's been in the NHL for I think 15 seasons now, 15 or 16 going on. Like he was a superstar. McDavid 6 years ago comes in the league. Matthews 6 years ago. It's just like it's every like a 5-6 year that a superstar comes through.
Yes, but it's all Canada superstar. There's no USA superstar that's a Crosby, a McDavid, or Bedard. You know, like so.
Right.
Because all the kids are playing lacrosse and field hockey.
Matthews was our last one. He's on Toronto, but he was from Phoenix. So he grew up in Phoenix, which is awesome because it's going to help the game down there. But the Coyotes stink. So they're playing in a Arizona University College arena, 5,000 fans in an NHL team. We get going about NHL. We'll save that for next time.
All right.
Yes.
Perfect. Good show. Good rants. Gotta remember to throw up these. Remember to become a supporter of the podcast by going to podcasters.spotify.com/pod/show/the Swoosh Life for anyone that still wants to do that. And if you don't want to do that, you want to do it a different way, just let us know. And then giveaway alert. We're so close. 5 away. 5 as of tonight. Giveaway alert. We are giving away the TW13 print done by Nomad Customs once we hit 1,500 followers. So please follow us on Instagram at the Swoosh Life Podcast. We will play the outro.
Yes. The golden age.
But it's been a great show here for us. Any final words, guys, before we take off tonight from our guests?
Thanks for having me on. The way this is going, the next time I'll be on is when the Jordan 9s drop in golf. So see you guys in February.
This is a little bombshell for the people that didn't know. Hey, so Steeler Nation, fire Matt Canada, please. Fire Matt Canada, Steelers, please.
I love you guys.
Can you drop something on T-Dub next time? Okay.
You want something on T-Dub?
Yeah.
Not on the
He's
podcast.
done.
Guys. Wait until we're done recording. Come on.
No, that one I just said he's done.
We'll see him at the PNC. So, all right.
And I hope I am wrong.
So Nick's going to hit us with our outro because he started it. For the Swoosh Life Podcast, remember to like, comment, subscribe on everything. We're on YouTube. Give us some reviews on the podcast. But until next time, that's been Keith, Matt, Blake, Nick, and I'm Gumby. See you in the next one.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to today's episode. Make sure to go follow us on Instagram at the Swoosh Life Podcast to stay up to date on all things swoosh. And if you have any questions, comments, or business inquiries, please email us at theswoosh.lifepodcast@gmail.com. And lastly, give us a follow or review and become a supporter of the podcast at anchor.fm/the Swoosh Life /support. Thank you all for listening. See you in the next one.
Checks over stripes, yeah, that's what I like, yeah, that's what we like, yeah.